Good morning, YouTube. Hey, everyone out there in survival land. How you doing? Oh, they're frisky. Oh, look at that. Look at them go. Now, these things ignite really quick. See how quick I just barely touched that. Hey, everyone. Freedom for Kaz here. How's it going out there today? We are practicing survival. We got Liberty Dog, Digital Skyline here out here this week, and we're having a great time. This segment here is I'm going to demonstrate some trapping ideas when you are practicing survival out in the woods. And with this particular piece of wood here and these 4 stakes, I'm going to demonstrate a deadfall trap. And I'm going to demonstrate on how you can trap an animal, actually kill it on site, and then come back and skin it and cook it for your meal. And then there's going to be another trap that I'm going to set out back over here. It's going to be a spring-loaded trap to where you can actually lasso the legs of maybe a raccoon or a possum or maybe something like that, and it's going to dangle from a tree and not kill it. So when you get to the animal itself, you can harvest the animal then. But I'm going to back up in the woods over here, and I'm going to demonstrate these traps. Hey guys, when making your piercing sticks for the deadfall, this is what you want to do. And I don't know if you can really see that very well, but what I did was when I made the spike, as you can see, the spike is not to the center of the stick. It's off to the one side. And the reason why I did it like that is because in the center of the stick is where the softwood is, kind of like the pulp kind of wood, and it's a little bit softer. So this way, if you make the point off to the edge a little bit, the harder wood is on the outer shell, and the softer wood is on the inner side. So with this being like this, your point is definitely going to be a lot sharper and a lot stronger when penetrating the animal. Alright YouTube, Freedom for Kaz here. And here I am demonstrating my deadfall trap here for raccoons, possums, maybe a rabbit or something like that. And as you can hear, the wind is blowing out here in the forest, and you can see how this is swaying a little bit. So, I mean, you are going to have a little bit of hit and miss here, but to kind of solidify this, I've got this going across a tree, and then this is going to actually fall down. But what I'm going to do is, to make it a little more rigid, is I'm going to tie this branch on here to this cross tree right here, and that's going to solidify that. I'm going to put it right here in this niche. Then I'm going to tie that off. So that's going to make this a little bit more rigid, because right now, as you can see, it has a lot of bounce to it, and I want to make that solid. I don't want this swinging around like when the wind blows. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to anchor the tree to this other tree, and then how I attach the spikes is that I put notches on each of the spikes, and I probably should have showed that, but I ended up not showing that. And these spikes extend anywhere about 6-7 inches from the end of the deadfall as it is. And this piece is about 3 feet long, and it's got some pretty good weight to it. And another important thing about the deadfall is that you want to have your rope to the center of the log. And the reason why you want it to the center of the log is that if you have it on one side or this side, what's going to happen is that your log is actually going to hang on an angle like this. So then your spikes aren't going to be straight to the ground. They're going to be on an angle. So when it falls, it's going to fall on an angle. So by having it in the center of your log, this is going to be perfectly straight up and down. It's going to go over your trigger mechanism when you catch your prey. Alright YouTube, we're back again, and I'm going to demonstrate now how the deadfall works. This is what's called the dead zone, and what I've done is I've drawn a circle on the ground to where the animal's body should be, as far as when this is going to strike the animal's body. That's called the dead zone. And this log is going to drop from my cross member here, which I have tied to my mechanism rope, and that's going to be tripped by this Y piece right here. It's going to be a trip mechanism. Now, like I said before, I wanted to make this a little more rigid. So I now have a 3-point contact with my trap here. Obviously this tree is in the ground, and as I said, I was going to lock this over here with some rope, and I niched it right in there, so that's real rigid now. And obviously this tree is in the ground as well. So now I have a 3-point trap, and this is my deadfall. And another thing that's very, very important is having the rope in the center of the log. Like I said, otherwise the log will tend to lean to one side or the other. This way it drops exactly straight down. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up the trigger mechanism, and I'm going to show you how this trap actually works. Alright YouTube, Figure for Kaz here, and here we have our deadfall. And as you can see, the tripwire is set. And you can see that this is going to fall right down on top of whatever it is that we're going to catch. And I have barricaded my trap here to where that whatever it is, the raccoon, possibly the possum, maybe even a rabbit or whatever, is going to have to come through this direction here, because they're not going to want to crawl over this. It's very rare that they're going to crawl over a structure to get in there. Also what you could do is you could put some more bait out here, which would be peanut butter, honey, maybe some berries or something, and put the same thing behind the trip mechanism as well. So when they walk in here, it might draw them in to the front. So this is the way you really need them to come in. And in this section right here, all I have is some leaves and some loose sticks. So there shouldn't be much resistance at all when the trip mechanism pulls through that. And this should fall relatively fast. Now I'm going to demonstrate with this stick the animal crawling in there. And let's just say that our critter is right here, and he's walking in here, and he's going to hit this trip wire. Okay, he's just going to walk in real quick here and hit this real quick. And there you go, bam. It was actually a pretty good fall. I mean, those sticks are pretty sharp, and you got 4 chances on getting them. And you know, it's going to go right through them, and it'll keep your critter right there. This is heavy enough to where they're not going to be able to work its way out, but it's definitely going to fatally injure them. If they're not caught right there, they're probably not going to get very far before they actually die, or they die from a loss of blood. So there you go, folks. It's actually pretty easy. It's just force of gravity, and it's called a deadfall.